Hello, Kat Miller here. I hope you are well. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Hey, do you want to know how to create content that deeply resonates with your soulmate clients, with your dream clients, those ideal clients, where you write content or you share content on video that really attracts those people that you would love to work with, those people that will appreciate you, those people that you just adore working with? If you'd like to know how to communicate your value in that way, this video is for you. When you're creating content and it's not leading to clients, it can feel really disheartening, really discouraging. It can feel really disappointing when people aren't engaging, when people aren't responding to your content. And one reason that this is because a lot of people write or speak in a certain way, in one way, and they're only creating content in one way, and they aren't appealing to multiple types of people. And what I call multiple buying types. There are certain types of buyers, and your ideal client, you may have an avatar, meaning it's one person. Avatar is not just the movie, it's a word that we use in marketing just to describe that one dream client, that one ideal person that we're trying to attract. And most of us have been told to focus on one avatar, and I totally get why this is. You know, most of us have heard that. We've heard just talk to one person, write to one person, and I get the logic. Just drop a Y for yes if you've ever heard that. Just drop a Y for yes in the comments if you've ever heard that before. Write to one person, speak to one person. I can see the logic behind it. I understand why this is being taught. It can help you to make it less like you're performing, less like you're speaking to the masses, and more like you're just connecting as a friend or connecting to someone as though, like right now, I am sharing to multiple people, but I feel like I could be sharing this to just sitting across from you at a cafe, for example. So there's benefits to having that one avatar where you know exactly what that person looks like. You maybe have a picture of them. I get it. But the reality is we're never just speaking to one person. Unless we're having a conversation on Zoom one-on-one, or we are sitting across a table physically from one person. Whenever we're putting out content, we're not just speaking to one person, we're speaking to multiple people. Multiple people read your content, right? Multiple people watch your videos. And if you want to have a great impact, this is a good thing. This is a way to leverage. This is a way to get your knowledge, your expertise, your skills and experience out there into the world in a bigger way so that more people can be helped. So this means there's multiple personalities, and they could all have the same problem that you can solve. They all have a certain problem that you used to have and you worked out how to solve it, and they all need that solved. They have the same pain points, the same frustrations, the same fears, the same dreams, the same desires, but they have multiple personality types. They have multiple learning styles. In my community, the inner circle, there is, I don't know, 30-something women, maybe close to 40 now, and they are all very different. They all have the exact same problem, the exact same solution that I help them solve. They're all female entrepreneurs. They're all service-based. They're all people who have great knowledge and experience that they want to package up and take out into the world in a bigger way. But there's multiple personalities. There's multiple stages in the journey. There's multiple delivery preferences. Some of them like reading my stuff. Some of them like watching my videos. Some of them like coming onto the live community calls. Some of them like coming one-on-one. There's multiple learning styles. Some of them like audio. Some are more visual. Some are more kinesthetic. Can you see it? Can you see that if our content only appeals to one person, you're missing out on a massive amount of people? And if you look at the 4 main personality types, if you use a model like DISC, for example, if you're only speaking in your personality type, then it means that you're potentially missing 75% or more of your audience. And you can still be your true, authentic self, and you need to, but there's multiple ways of showing up. There's multiple dials that we can turn up or turn down so that you can make sure that you're serving all of the different many people that you could potentially help. This is about being adaptable and being flexible and being what I call client-centric in our approach. It's like wearing glasses, wearing a lens that is from a client's perspective. So good to have you here. Those of you who are joining me live. By the way, could you just drop a hashtag live if you're joining us live? Oh, thank you, Promi. That's lovely of you to say. If you're joining us live, just pop a hashtag live. If you're joining us on the replay, a lot of you watch the replay afterwards. If you could put a hashtag replay so I know that you're here. I really appreciate your connection. I really appreciate you engaging in the comments. It makes a big difference. It actually enables Facebook to show this to more people. So please do engage. I really appreciate it. So if you want to get more clients and you want to make sure that they're the right fit clients, but within that there's multiple types of people, you want to make sure that you're appealing to different buying types, which means we need to kind of use that idea of one avatar for a different purpose. So in this video, I'm sharing what I've called the content sweet spot. And the content sweet spot is a very simple but very powerful tool that you can use to identify where you're sitting in what I call the content spectrum, the content delivery spectrum. And I'm going to give you 10 different dials. It's like having these knobs, these levers that you can turn up, turn down, pull back, pull forward, push forward, because we all have multiple facets to who we are as human beings, and we can turn them up or down depending on the needs and desires of our audience. So let's get stuck in. I'm going to share some slides on this so that you can kind of see, so I can bring it to life for you. So the content sweet spot. I shared this in my recent masterclass and I got a lot of feedback that it was very helpful. So I wanted to share it with you. If you missed the masterclass, this is a little snippet about my recent masterclass. By the way, if you want the replay of that masterclass, it's a 2-hour, actually, I've edited it up, taken out the breakout rooms and things like that. So it's about 90 minutes. And if you want the replay for that, just drop the word replay into the chat box and I'll get that out to you. Okay, so the content sweet spot. So the challenge, if we don't do this, if we don't understand this content sweet spot, if we don't appeal to multiple buying types, is that we create content that so many people just don't see. And you're sitting there and you're creating it and it's just not working and you feel like it's just a big waste of time. Has anybody felt like that before? You feel like you've created this really great piece of content, a blog, a email, a social media caption or a video, and you just feel like it's just not getting out in front of the right people. And so you don't get your brilliant genius, because you have a genius zone, and it doesn't get out in front of people who fully value it, who fully appreciate it, who are like hanging off your every word, who are into what you're doing, who love receiving your emails, who love watching your videos. And it means that not enough people engage with your content or respond to your content. And it just feels a bit disheartening. So if you feel like that, I totally get it. And it's often because we're not understanding how to step out of our own world and into other people's different preferences. So the opportunity that really is in front of you is to create content in a way where your content becomes the bridge to someone's breakthrough. If you're taking notes, you might want to write that down. Your content becomes the bridge to someone's breakthrough. It's super powerful. Your content is that bridge between them and their result. Your content is a way for them to get to know you, like you, trust you, and want to work with you. It means that people reach out to work with you. People send you DMs. People reply to your emails. People book into your strategy sessions on your online calendar because your content impacted them. They watched a video, they read some posts, they read a blog, they downloaded a resource, and your content impacted them. And so now they're taking steps towards you. And ultimately, you finally get a result from all your efforts. You get a result. You actually get more paying clients from your content. Just drop a Y for yes in the comments or drop a yes if you want your content to make an impact and for people to actually become clients from your content, to turn your content into clients. Just drop a Y for yes if you want that. So the content sweet spot is a tool that we can use to help you with this. So let's dive into the content sweet spot. So if you're making notes, the first one I want you to write down is strong and warm. strong on one side, warm on the other side. There's a really great book called Compelling People, and it's written by two guys who did a whole lot of research into what makes people compelling. If you think about people that move the masses, those people that have a message that goes out, that moves people, that impacts and influences people, Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, these people that have thousands, millions of followers, they have a beautiful combination, a sweet spot of strength and warmth. Strength and warmth. So if we think of someone that's super, super strong, they're direct, they're very driven, they're a leader, they're decisive, they're very powerful in their language, they take control of a room. Think of a person that you know that's really, really strong. And then think of a person that you know that's really warm. They're really warm. Think of the compassionate person, the loving person, the caring person, the person that has so much empathy. And this is a spectrum. So if you think about that strength sign and that strength and power and showing up in your content with that, and then think of warmth as, you know, really kind, really considerate, really lovely. And if we think of it in the spectrum, where do you feel that you sit? Do you feel like you're super strong in your content, in your videos, in your posts? Are you like, you need to change, you must do this, this is wrong, this is, you know, if you're super on this right end of the spectrum, you're strong and you don't have any warmth to balance it out. But most women that I work with, they are more on the warm end, where they're very helpful, they love giving value, they love offering a lot of great tips, and they maybe have come so far down the warm end that they haven't balanced it with some strength, with some trust, some credibility, some evidence, some, hey, I can absolutely help you with this. So we want to bring it into that sweet spot. So I invite you to just think at the moment, where do you sit on that spectrum? Are you sitting more on one end or the other? And can we bring it in to a little bit more of the middle, where we actually do both? And in one post you can do a mixture of both, or it might be that one post is a little bit more on that strong end and one post is a bit more on that warm end, and we kind of like, our content strategy overall is having both of those factors. So something for you to consider, where you sit on that spectrum of strong and warm, and do you need to maybe bring it into the middle? The next one is, the next one is professional and personal. Professional and personal. So on one end of the spectrum, someone is super professional, they're always polished, they're always immaculate, they maybe more of that corporate type, if you know what I mean, like more of the very, very scripted. So if you think of the real extreme end of professionalism, sometimes it can lack that personal feel, you know, where things are so formal that it feels like, can you just talk to me like a regular human being? Can you just talk to me like a friend? So that next one is professional and personal. So some people, they will be so far on that professional end that there's not enough friendliness, there's not enough like, hey, here's a sneak peek into my life, like they never talk about anything personal. On the other end of the spectrum, there's people that talk so much about their personal life. They are very vulnerable, very human, very real, and they feel like, you know, they're your best mate. And so I believe in business, we need to be both. It's not one or the other. We need to be both. And you might decide on a percentage. You might say, I want to be about 80% professional, but I want to put about 20% of my personality, my lifestyle, my who I am as a person into my content. Now, obviously, we have both of these sides, right? We all have both, but are you sitting on one end more or the other? And do you maybe want to bring it into the middle? Do you want to turn one of these up or down? This is just a self-reflection process for you to have a think about. So that is professional and personal. The next one is logical and emotional. Logical, oops, my mouse is doing funny things. Logical and emotional. So on one end of the spectrum, you can be very factual, very analytical. You like things done in order. You like things to make sense. There's a lot of reasoning. And typically people that are more logical are more left brain. They operate more out of their left brain. So they're more left brain dominant. On the other hand, the emotional side of content, so remember we're speaking in the context of content creation, is more storytelling, is more emotional, is more usually creative. It might be more symbology, it might be more visual, it might have more color, for example. And so consider where you sit, because depending on your audience, depending on your ideal client, you will probably have a mixture of left and right brain dominant people in your audience. I remember when I was trained as a professional speaker, and they talked about the general audience, the general public is roughly 50-50. So if you gave a TED talk, for example, you'd probably find that about half the people in the room would be logical and half the people in the room would be more emotional. Now, we all have both. Of course we do. we all have both sides of the brain, but often from our training, from our conditioning, sometimes just our natural personality leans more one way or the other. So for me, I tend to go more on that logical side. So I need to bring in more feeling, more emotion. I'm very kinesthetic, but sometimes in my content, I forget to add that feely stuff. Sometimes I forget to add a story or that creative side, that more playful, imagination side. So often it's kind of from the jobs that we did or the way we were schooled, things like that, we can kind of have a bent towards one or the other. So something for you to consider. Do you need to be a little bit more one way or the other? If you love talking about concepts and stories and telling stories, are you making sure that there's enough organized structure in there for your left brain learners as well? Okay, the next one is credibility and humility. Credibility and humility. So on one end of the spectrum, like if you think about credibility as you are sharing your expertise, so you are sharing all the things that make you credible. So this builds massive trust. So on one end of the spectrum, we're talking about how great we are. And it's not easy for a lot of us to do. We don't like that whole, tooting your own horn, blowing your own trumpet. Tall poppy in Australia is a very real thing. And where I grew up in New Zealand as well. So there was just this whole concept of, you can't talk yourself up, getting too big for your boots and all of that kind of talk. So if we don't talk ourselves up, if we don't show our credibility, if we don't share our expertise, our wisdom, our experience, how long we've been in business, our achievements, our qualifications, if we don't share them, there's no trust. Why would anyone work with us? On the other hand, if we are just sharing so much about how great we are and we're not balancing that with humility, I'm so grateful to the people that have helped me. I'm so grateful that I've had mentors along the way and community and support. I'm so humbled that, I've been so blessed to have these things. So that really balances it out. And I teach this when I talk about when you're presenting, is to always balance your energy, your tonality, when you're talking about yourself, to lower and drop into that really humble place. And then the final one is pain versus pleasure. Pain versus pleasure. Now, both of these work, and pain particularly is more powerful in driving someone to make a decision. Most of us make decisions more to get out of pain than we do to move towards pleasure. However, if we talk about pain all the time, we can just be associated with someone that always talks about struggles, right? So we also have to balance that with talking about content that's pleasurable, that's enjoyable, that's entertaining, that's aspirational, where we're talking about the dreams, how we can help people, the kind of future vision, the imagination of the life that they can have if they make these changes. So yes, we have to talk about problems and how we solve them, because that is the conversation that's happening in most people's minds. However, we need to balance that well with talking about pleasure as well. So that is the content sweet spot. That is giving you 10 different dials that you can consider turning up, turning down to suit your audience, and make sure that you're coming from that real client-centric lens, like having glasses on, that you see things from your audience point of view. I hope that's a helpful tool for you. If there's one key point I want you to take away, it's that when you write content and create content and speak content, that elegantly influences people, it can change everything for you. Your marketing becomes so much easier. You do get those responses that you want. You show up more confident, and ultimately you build a more successful business. You attract more clients consistently, and you really deeply connect and resonate with those clients, those right fit clients that you can help. And I've developed a formula called the client attraction formula, and I use pieces of the formula, the roadmap that I teach, in multiple places where I show up. So like I mentioned, I did a masterclass recently. It was a live masterclass that I actually did it last night, but I recorded it, and I'm making the recording available to you for free. And it is packed with gems of how to structure your content in a way that's elegant, that influences people, to inspire them to want to work with you. It's got 7 elements. It's called the Attract formula. I also show you the 3 essentials to your content strategy to have an effective content strategy. We want our content strategy to be effective, meaning it gets you clients. We want it to be elegant, and we want it to be enjoyable for you and for the people that are consuming your content. And I talk about how to get clients using your content ultimately. So if you would like to watch the replay, the recording, just pop the word replay into the comments right now, and I will get that out to you. I'll private message you with the instant access. So just pop replay into the comments right now, or just DM me the word replay and I'll send that out to you. It's only available until Sunday midnight. So it's just available for a short time, and it's the best of what I've put together from a one-day workshop. I actually run this as a full one-day workshop, but I've just taken the best content pieces and condensed them all for you. So if you want to catch the replay while it's still available, just write the word replay below. And until we meet again, take care, my friends. And remember, keep showing up, keep sharing, because the world is waiting for your words. The world is waiting for your words, and they matter. Take care, big love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.